episode 121 of Anime and Us. I'm TJ.
And I'm Shawn.
And this is a review show that reviews anime from A to Z. Sort of.
Alright guys, so last episode, we did not spin. It is the end of the wheel, or end of the alphabet categories. And we pick. We did Berserk last time, and this time it was TJ's turn to pick, and with his theme, he's gone with Legend of Korra. We watched both seasons, so we're done. Avatar's over. Yep. Unless you count the movie. Right?
Because
we're watching everything Avatar, right?
That scrappy movie.
Why not? We're counting everything Avatar. I gotta watch that.
Because it's not even canon. It's shit.
Well, they're making a live-action movie or TV show on Netflix, and I believe that's canon, right? The creators are making it.
I heard it got canceled or pushed back, or...
Well, I know they're making it, but I know something happened with the creators where they were helping, and then they weren't helping, or they are helping. I'm not really 100% sure on all of it, but I know they're still making it.
I don't know. Well, if we were going by that standard, we would have to watch a live-action Death Note, and we're not doing that either.
Oh. Well, I guess it depends if the creators have their hand in it, right?
I mean, I guess. I don't know.
That changes it for me. Anyway, we watched Season 3 and Season 4 of Legend of Korra, so it's over.
Book 3 change and Book 4 balance.
And let me say this. Book 3 started out a little weak and finished so strong. It was so good. Best season in all Avatar.
Yeah, you like the best season? Wow.
100%.
I mean, I told you, but it got really good in Season 3.
Season 4 was... meh.
I mean...
It was okay.
People like it or hate it. The whole fascist thing, people...
I didn't mind that at all.
Yeah, no,
I mean, it was cool seeing that, right? But, I don't know. It was... My problems aren't with that. It's with Korra. It's with mainly Korra. She's a whiny little brat.
Oh, yeah.
She's a petulant child.
I mean, she's working through some stuff. She is still a teenager.
Well, yeah. Like, it made sense... So I'm calling her a petulant child, a whiny brat for the entire 4 seasons, not just that one season.
I mean, but it made sense in the last season.
I really started to see it in the 3rd and 4th season.
It made sense in the last season, though.
Yeah, I mean, she had reason for it, at least.
Yes.
Anyway, the 3rd season.
But she's still, I still think she's a better character than Aang was.
Oh, yeah.
So...
Well, Aang was also a child, so it's hard to write a child that has depth in his character for adults. That's hard to do that.
Well, but there wasn't really any depth to him, period.
Yeah, well, that's kind of my point. You can't really... It's a child.
But that's my point, though. He's two-dimensional, and then they try to throw this pacifist thing at the end, and it's just like,
Well, so we started watching Season 3, and you told me that Korra and what's her name get into a relationship?
Oh, Asami.
And I can see that, but, like, they were holding hands. It wasn't like they were smooching.
Well, I mean, they go more detail into the relationship in the comic.
Which I think my only issue is, so, like, for instance, you were telling me that, like, the relationship starts to build in Season 3.
Well...
Maybe. I can see it a little bit. But Season 4, they were a little more friendly once they got together. My only issue is that as far as canon flirting in all of Avatar, they're always blushing when they flirt with each other. Yeah, always.
Yeah, I know. The problem
doesn't matter what character it is, but they don't. No. So from my perspective, it just looks like a friendship that's budding until the very last episode where they're holding hands and looking at each other and going off to the spirit world.
Right.
Then it's like, oh, maybe something's happening.
Well, the thing was, they were afraid to pull the trigger on it any earlier because of people's view on the LGBT stuff at that time.
What year was it?
I just think it was like 2000... I don't even know.
Maybe we should have pulled the wiki.
Yeah, we should have pulled up the wiki, huh?
Maybe we should have. You want to type that in real quick?
Yeah, Korra.
Korra wiki, just see what pops up. Wiki, just type wiki.
Yeah.
I can't imagine there's too many Korras out there. Oh, that's fan. Yeah, that's it. Here it is. Let's see. Season 4. Here we go. We're doing it. We're getting it.
That's up to the very top. It said it right at the top.
Did it?
2012. That's when it ended.
Airing on 2012, so
but
4 years.
That was still before...
That's 2015, 2016
That was still
when it
before
came
the
out.
legalization of gay marriage, though.
Now, it does say here in the wiki that the representation of the LGBT was unprecedented in Western children's television.
Yes.
That, I think, is a fair thing to say. Children's television.
Yeah. That's
not necessarily, like, animation, not necessarily movies or TV shows, but children's animation.
Yeah.
But even as far as children's animation, I don't think it's fair to call it, because, like, Korra is way more teenager, young adult.
But it was still...
But I get it. So yeah, I hear child and I'm thinking, like, 8-year-olds, and sure, 8-year-olds can watch this, there's nothing wrong with that. Right. And I'm sure a lot of 8-year-olds did, but, like, this felt more like a teenager show.
I'm sure.
But whatever. Splitting hairs at that point.
I mean, but you're also... looking at it this way, the show's kind of growing up with its fan base.
Yeah, definitely. So. But it's season 3 was way better. It was the best season of the whole show.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna like it, especially because it goes really dark in spots.
Yeah,
like them, the bad guys killing the Earth Queen and pretty much suffocating her to death.
Yeah, that was really cool.
So
that was a inventive way to use your air powers.
Like you said, they didn't cop out on things so much.
Yeah, no, they did. They not as much as they did in the first series with Aang.
So, I mean, I guess you want to do the premise for season 3?
You know what? The premise is a little weird because in the beginning it's about getting the spirit vines out of the city, and then they don't touch on that ever. They just leave it. It's that little plot line's over.
Yeah, no.
They just
it was just there to pretty much kick Korra out so we can get Korra out in the bigger world.
Yes, and then we find out that what happened in season 2 with the something convergence, harmonic convergence. Airbenders are popping up.
Right.
What's interesting is they're only popping up with people that can't bend.
Yeah.
Which is obvious, a good thing.
Well, yeah, it was almost like it was releasing latent abilities that were being suppressed for some reason at the time.
They didn't say that.
No, I know that would make
sense, but they didn't say
that was
because there's people in the Earth Nation that just can do it.
But that's my point.
Maybe it's descendants, like ancient descendants, but they never actually said.
Well, because my whole thing, I always found the extinction of the Air Nation weird because all the bending is kind of. You're born with it. Yeah,
you're born with it, but there's nations for a reason because all the fire ones seem to be born in the Fire Nation through their bloodlines. It seems to be blood-related, genetic.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it is genetic.
But, crossbreeding over hundreds and thousands of years, there's going to be some descendants that aren't benders that are in the Earth Nation. There's going to be some descendants that aren't benders that are in the Fire Nation. So it makes sense for them to pop up all over the world.
Yeah, here and there. But I always found it weird. It was kind of because it's a gift you're born with. And yet it's so isolated in certain areas that...
And you know what's really crazy is, there really is second-class citizens in with this, but they don't normally treat it that way.
No.
You see a little bit of it in the first or second season of Korra, where it's all, the benders and the rights.
Right.
You see that a bit, but I don't know if I touched on that in the other reviews that we did, but it's definitely something where there are legitimate second-class citizens in this world, and as the civilization builds up, it starts to... come up. So that's pretty good world building that they did that. Something I wanted to say, and I don't want to forget about it, so we'll come back to the premise of the second season in a moment.
Okay. Third season, but okay.
Yeah. Let's talk about the different nations and which ones are stronger just from pure bending.
Okay.
So the water benders, they can bend water. Mm-hmm. Some of them can do ice.
Okay.
Very few of them can do blood. Mm-hmm. And that's it. Right?
Yes, and I mean, it depends on how creative you want to get with it.
Well, I can only do what's shown, and I haven't seen anything else, right?
Right, I know.
Now, fire is fire, lightning, and lightning's rare.
That's kind of it for fire. But fire is also kind of already on its own pretty destructive.
Air is just air.
Fly and shit with air.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Most of them can't fly.
Okay.
Korra can fly, but she usually uses fire. She's an Avatar Saint. She shoots out of her feet, and when she glides, she has her glider. She can't fly by herself. That's a big point in the third season.
She also uses that tornado thing.
Yeah, she's using that a couple times. That's not really flying in the traditional sense.
Yeah, that's fair too.
And then the Earth Nation is way overpowered. You can bend earth, you can bend metal, and apparently almost everyone can bend metal. So there's a plot line where Bolin wanted to learn, and he said, it's so rare, it's like 1 in 100 earthbenders can do it. And then, what's her name, the head of the city, was like, you probably can. Most people can, and they just don't really know, is essentially what she was saying.
Right. Because Korra picked it up pretty quickly, metal bending.
Well, it makes sense for her. She should be able to pick up everything. She's an Avatar. Eventually, she should be able to, with enough training.
Right.
And then we find out that he isn't a metal bender, but he can do magma, lava, whatever you want to call it.
Lava is...
Molten rock.
Molten rocks, that's why.
So, no, it makes sense, I get it.
Yeah, no, but...
Some might say it would make more sense for it to be a firebender thing because you're heating up the rock, but whatever.
But it's called molten rock, so...
Yeah, whatever. It's fine.
Yeah.
But it's just, there's so much, and not only that, but a few of them, if you get really, really good at bending earth, you can then sense everything in the earth across the world, apparently.
What is those psychic laser beams?
Oh, combustion bending.
So that's fire.
They didn't say, but it seems like it's fire.
I mean, they all seem to come from Fire Nations.
It seems like they're fire.
Okay,
yeah.
so that's.
But combustion, I mean, they never said it, but it seems like it's fire.
So, yeah.
But it's like two people. It's almost like the lightning where it's so rare.
Yeah, I mean.
And it almost seems like you need tattoos on your forehead because both of them had tattoos on their forehead.
It's like a focus, yeah.
So what is it? Who knows? They never explain it. Maybe in the manga, but or the comic, but they don't tell us. So it's crazy how overpowered the Earthbenders are.
Yeah, but it also seems like the Earth Nation gets its ass kicked a lot.
It does, which is weird because you're so overpowered. Well, that's kind of the season 4, right?
Right.
Like they're not saying they're realizing their power, but they finally have a leader that's organizing them in a militaristic state.
And they're conquering, essentially. They're like the Earth Nation's becoming the Fire Nation. It's essentially.
They're pressuring people to join them, and then when they don't join them.
Yeah, it's a fascist takeover. Well, exactly what the 4th season is. And then it gets really weird with, like, mechs and stuff.
A little bit, yeah.
Towards the end. But,
metal bending, I guess. And then the science guy.
It's explained, with Varric and stuff like that, This world's totally.
But I just find it so crazy that they were so imbalanced.
I mean, that's kind of what Korra is there for, though, to bring balance to the world.
Yeah, sure, but she's there to bring balance in a sense of all right, take out the bad guys, let's make peace.
You could also argue that the powers are so imbalanced that she needs to be there to keep everything in check, too. Maybe they're not. All the elements are not supposed to be balanced.
Oh, water has healing as well, but few people.
Yes, healing. I mean, there's a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm. I just found that so weird that Earth was so strong.
Right.
And you only ever saw it in the 4th season really come to a head.
Well, I mean, they focus so much. They kind of give the Earthbending to all the second-class characters. Like, Bolin got it, Toph got it. They're like the side characters. So you can see why that they felt like they had to beef them up because they're supposed to be joke characters and stuff like that.
Yeah. Bolin's probably my favorite character.
Oh, yeah, he's the funniest.
He's fun, but he's got like a heart of gold,
Right.
And the fire guy, what's his name?
Mako.
He's cool, he's interesting, but I don't know, they just didn't care about him.
I actually found him bland.
Yeah, he's okay. He just wants to be a detective. He fell in love with Korra in the beginning of this show of Legend of Korra. Well, it didn't work out.
Well, it's funny. He had both Korra and Asami, and they both turned gay.
For each other. Yeah. But after his love lost with both of them, he's like, I just want to be a detective. I don't want any of this.
I just want to be Batman. Leave me alone.
Yeah, Bolin's probably my favorite. I like him. The character development with the Airbender's daughter.
Oh, Jinora.
The one that gets the tattoos. Yep. That was really cool. She's probably the strongest Airbender, to be honest.
Yeah, and she got her own little love story and arc and stuff like that.
With the homeless kid that steals.
Kai?
Yeah, I think it was Kai.
Yeah.
I liked the 3-year time skip between season 3 and season 4. That was cool.
Yeah.
Overall, I really like it. It was a good show. 3 was the best.
Yeah.
The last Airbender was very lackluster for me.
Yeah, I know. But that was also a kid's show.
It was. This is much, much better. The spirit stuff I could deal without. Season 3 and season 4 are pretty good.
Yeah. I knew once we got to these 2 seasons, you would like it even more. Because the second season was kind of a mess. Because they didn't realize they were getting that second season. It was supposed to be one and done. Then they got it, and they're like, okay, now we have to restructure. So they had to rebuild up the entire world. And once they got to 3, it's like they found their stride again, and it got really good from
3 was great. The Airbender terrorist, what's his name? The bald guy?
Oh, yeah, I don't
remember his name.
Yeah.
But he was one of the guys that was a terrorist, didn't have any bending, and then he got airbending after season 2.
Right,
and towards the end of season 3, he's apparently the best airbender ever, even though he's lived most of his life not bending. Right. That was shitty writing.
Yeah.
They could have given a reason for it. If they had done that, who cares? Yeah. But they didn't give a reason. He's just so good at it.
Yeah, that's fair. But then they also have nice little touches. Like, the main bad guy, Kavira, in the 4th season is throughout kind of the 3rd season, if you look. She's in the background in the 3rd season. She's there at the end of the last episode and stuff like that.
So they must have known they were getting a season 4, and they did good writing for that.
So, I mean, they're pretty good with continuity overall.
Oh, yeah. It's just, his character didn't make much sense. Yeah, for getting his powers, being so good at it. And then learning to fly. He was the one that actually could fly as an airbender.
I think they just wanted a cool 4 bad guy team to go up against Korra.
Yes, so there's a point where Tenzin finds out the bald guy figured out how to fly. Mm-hmm. And Tenzin's all beaten up. I really thought Tenzin was going to jump off the cliff and be like, if he can do it, I can do it. and then start flying. That would have been fucking epic.
Yeah.
That would have been great. Or if his daughter started doing it, because she's better than him.
Right.
That would have been fantastic, too. Even if it wasn't that season, but the next season, she had her own little arc. That would have been really cool.
Right. I mean, I guess the only explanation they gave is that he studied the airbending stuff pretty intensively, and that's their excuse for
Tenzin
it.
studied it more. How could he not have?
And he apparently became able to fly because he lost everything. His girlfriend died.
Yeah, he gave up all worldly obsessions or whatever.
And he becomes untethered to the world so he can fly, so forth. It's all very key and, Eastern civilization stuff.
Whatever. Anyway, overall, it's pretty good. We can go back to the premise of season 3?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much you got this group of guys who tried to kidnap Korra when she was a child, were locked away. The leader gets airbending, which is Alzin's Gate. He breaks everyone else, and it's just them going after Korra.
Yeah. The combustion girl, another girl with no arms, but has liquid arms.
She's a waterbender.
Essentially tentacles.
Yeah, she uses them, and then...
The other guy is a magma bender.
Yeah, the magma bender. And they go after Korra, and eventually they capture her because, you have to have a climax. And they're poisoning her, I think? Yeah,
they poisoned her with some sort of metal poison, which is... All that does, apparently, is induce the Avatar state. Mm-hmm. But somehow, they didn't explain it very well. If she dies with the poison in her, and while she's in the Avatar state, then the cycle's over and no Avatar will be reborn.
Right. Because they didn't want the Avatar to be reborn. They wanted to kill off the Avatar completely, right?
It seemed like what they wanted was no more kings and queens.
Right.
I think what they wanted was no more of the hierarchy of the second class and first class citizens. They didn't get into it too much, but they did say that they don't believe in kings and queens.
Right.
They did say that.
And they just wanted and she represents, like, all...
Yeah, the pinnacle of the hierarchy.
Yeah. And that's why they wanted to kill her. So...
They lose.
Yeah,
but we find out that there's still traces of the metal in her.
And that's where the fourth season
is. And she eventually starts, because even though they get most of the metal out, she can't walk at the ending of the third season. She's in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
But there's a 3-year time skip. She can walk, she can bend, but there's something off.
She starts cage fighting.
Yeah. And no one knows who she is. Come on.
Yeah, that was a little bit... It's like no one recognizes who she is.
Yeah, it's a bit much. Whatever.
I mean, I guess if you go to a remote place and no one...
Well, that's what she should have done, but wasn't she at...
No, she wasn't in Boston.
She wasn't?
No, she was
not Boston, the Republic City. I assume that's where they had all the fights.
No. She was in a different town altogether.
They should have done a little... Because, I just assumed she was in the Republic City because that's the big city that has those fights that we saw in Season 1 and 2. Right. But, whatever.
No, she was in a remote Earth Kingdom place because she disappeared from everyone's life.
Yeah. For 3 years, and she only wrote her girlfriend.
Yeah, essentially.
The Rule 34 subreddit has got to have a lot of that. I can only imagine.
I don't know.
You know what Rule 34 is?
Not really, no.
You don't know Rule 34? Alright, so PG, rated R right now. Rule 34 means if you could think of it, there's porn of it on the internet.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't matter. A glass? There's porn of glass on the internet.
I'm sure. Okay, that's fair.
Anyway. Yeah, so that's kind of it. That was Season 3. Season 4 starts up where she's trying to fix herself. She doesn't know what's wrong. She keeps seeing images of herself.
Yeah. And she finds Toph in the forest.
Who says, hey, you still got bits of that poison in you.
Which was cool, though, to see an old character.
Yeah, they should all be dead. And you know what's interesting? In the 3-year time skip, the fire guy died.
Zuko?
Yeah, Zuko's dead.
No.
There's a leader of the Fire Nation. That's not him.
Yeah, I know, but he's there. He was the one with the dragon, and he was...
Was that him?
Yeah, that was Zuko, the old guy with the scar.
He wasn't dead. No, yeah, you're right. I thought he was dead for some reason.
No, but he stepped down from leader. And his daughter...
you're right, because I remember him fighting and everything.
Yeah,
even Toph, not so much, but he starts fighting, and he did okay for a moment. And he should have died the second he got hit. He's 90. Yeah. The second a rock smacked him in the face, he should be dead.
But here's the thing. 90 in this world doesn't mean 90
I know.
These people seem to live...
I understand, it's fantasy.
And they seem to live longer in these worlds for some reason.
It does. Their toughness reminded me a little bit of Watchmen. Do you remember that?
I've actually never seen Watchmen.
The movie?
Yeah.
So in the movie, there's a couple Batman-esque characters. Well, damn near all of them are Batman-esque characters. They don't have any superpowers except for 1 or 2 of them. Mm-hmm. But their martial arts training was so intense that they can punch a stone wall and it'll break. So that's the canon reason for it. So I try to take that into account when we're talking about different sci-fi type fantasy settings. we don't know how things work in their world.
Right.
Whatever.
And I mean, the majority of these people who are focused on can control elements. So
Yeah.
So breaking an earthquake and breaking a rock is not a big deal.
I'm just saying, 90-year-old people shouldn't be kicking ass.
I'm sure there's a 90-year-old person in this world who can kick your ass.
I don't think so.
I'm sure we can find one.
Well, let's do it. I'll fight him in the ring. So yeah, season 4 goes on. Bolin's working with the Ice Princess.
The Ice Princess?
She's got a cold heart. The metal lady? What's her name? The leader of the... she's got a cold, ice-cold heart.
I forgot her name. Kavira.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and then she kidnaps him and Varric to build vines, spirit vine things, so... And then which creates lasers. Yes.
Which was pretty cool. It's essentially a weapon of mass destruction.
Yep.
On a small scale, not like a nuclear warhead scale. Think of it like a...
I think if the Varric would have continued, he would have created a nuclear bomb.
And this is where you see his redemption. The second he creates something that's seriously too powerful, he's like, nope, we're done.
Yep.
So that was pretty interesting.
Well, yeah, I mean, essentially, Kavira starts taking over all the Earth nations because when the Queen gets murdered in the 3rd season, they need a new ruler. And
they need someone to hold things together until they can get their new ruler.
And she's present, and they're gonna put this idiot Wu on the throne.
Yes,
I mean,
so she's going town to town, getting everyone together, banding them together. She's got her army. She's protecting towns from raiders and stuff. And apparently, if you don't sign the contract, not only will she not protect you, but something happens.
Yeah,
I assume she starts fighting them, or she starts helping the raiders.
Yeah,
and then they eventually sign to join their little allegiance.
And then when it's time for her to give up power, she doesn't.
Not only that, there are re-education camps.
Yep.
Yeah, very, very fascist, very authoritarian. Mm-hmm. And Bolin doesn't really know about any of it because he's just a happy-go-lucky kind of guy.
Right.
He's just there to help.
Yep. And it's like he's always arguing we help, and then they're asking, do you ever go back to the towns that you're supposedly help?
And at first he's like, yeah, they're fine. And then afterwards, in another room when he's by himself, he's like, I've never really done that.
Yeah.
So that was... He starts to think about, and that starts spinning the wheels in his, slowly f***ing mind. Right,
and it all culminates with Kavira coming to take over Republic City in a giant mech. Mm-hmm. And, Team Avatar's got
made of platinum. How much platinum's on their f***ing planet? Jesus.
They probably used all of it.
That's a lot of platinum. The thing's bigger than skyscraper. Well, as big as skyscraper.
To be fair, when we play D&D, we get a lot of platinum.
Not enough to build that. We get platinum in like 50-cent pieces.
But there's a lot of platinum just hanging around in that world, too.
Yeah, it is weird. A lot more than here. Like, platinum's hard to find here.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, it's a fantasy world. You gotta give their resources a break.
And they're harnessing the powering the mech with the spirit mines.
Right. And, they win the day.
Hard-fought win.
Yeah, they blow up the mech. Sami's dad dies after they make up, and he gets released in prison.
Yeah, he sacrifices himself for the team.
Right. That's pretty much the only good guy death.
Yeah, there's not very... Most people are safe in the show. Yeah. Which is a fault, but...
it's a kid show.
Well, not just that. It's pretty much all shows.
Yeah.
Very few shows kill off main characters and side characters.
Yeah, that's fair, too. And, at the end, Varric marries his assistant.
And they run through things within like 4 minutes. Yeah. It's like bam, bam, bam. Shit's gotta happen.
Yep. They get married. They close up all the tight ends.
I had wished that instead of Varric marrying his assistant, it was Bolin marrying his girlfriend, the Airbender.
Yeah, but he had his own girlfriend. He was dating the Toph's daughter's daughter.
Yeah. Bolin marrying the Airbender.
You think they should have got married?
Yeah. Instead. Okay. Well, the wedding should have been them, in my opinion. It could have been like a 6-month time skip or whatever, and then because they had made up and they were happy with each other again.
I don't know. Have Varric coming around and actually settling down is a good,
which is fine, but he's not a character I care too much about.
I mean, people liked him a lot.
He's a supporting character. You know what I mean?
But
which I'm not saying I don't like him, but like if you're gonna do a wedding in the final episode,
I'm just saying I think he got really popular over the course of the series,
for sure,
and that's why the fans
for sure. But Bolin was there for me.
Yeah, I know
his arc with helping the fascist leader. What's her name? Kavira, Lynn's daughter. I don't know why I just remembered her name. Helping her capture his girlfriend's mom, Lynn, was kind of f***ed up.
Yeah.
And then his redemption arc of going and helping them, and then it was a good arc. It was my favorite arc of the show.
It's a good show.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted you to watch it.
It was alright. What are you going to pick for next time?
Oh, I got something in mind.
What?
I'm not going to spoil it here on the show.
Alright. Season 3 and 4, I guess, are getting 1 rating. Yeah, this is an 8. It was good.
Yeah, it's a decent show.
The first few episodes of each season are kind of rough.
Yeah,
but
they're all set up too.
Exactly. Once the setup's there, you're like, oh, I actually want to watch the next episode.
Right.
It ends, I'm like, oh, I want to play the next one.
Yeah.
Pretty good. I can't rate all the seasons, but season 3 is number 1.
Right.
4 would probably be number 2, and then everything else is Korra, and then Aang.
Yeah, it's popular for a reason,
and
I just felt like it's something you should have seen.
What's your rating?
I go with an 8 too.
Yeah. That's fair. Alright, so what are we watching next episode?
So we have a little bit of cleanup to do. First of all, back in D, where you made me watch Stupid Death Note.
Death Note was good.
You made me watch Stupid Death Note. We spun the wheel in C because you wanted to see what we would get. And we got this anime called Domestic Girlfriend. And it didn't look bad. It was like a slice of life. And we felt bad because who knows if when it would come up again for D. So we're like, all right, at the end of the season, we'll watch that. So we're actually going to do that next.
Okay.
But we also have one more piece of cleanup to do. Back in R, we spun and we got a show called Rainbow Days.
Okay.
And there was only like 5 episodes dubbed at the time, and we couldn't figure out why. And then I figured it out. Well, you said it on that show. It was a fan dub, and it was fan dub. Yeah. So yeah, it's official. That was fan dub. It's not actually fully dubbed, so we're not going to actually cover that one because it's just sub unless they do an official dub at some point down the line. But yeah.
Cool. So, good to know.
Yeah. And so, yeah, we're going to do Domestic Girlfriend, whatever that is.
Domestic Girlfriend, guys. Next episode.
Bye.
Bye.